invention. I invented all the products that enhances those dishes. So nothing is basically bought other than the raw materials, for instance, the chicken or the ribs or the tenderloin and the goat or the oxtails or whatever we do. All my spices and sauces are incorporated into all the dishes so that when the person does eat it, they're getting a taste of the islands and also a taste of something that was invented right here in North Carolina. So it is, you could say that this was a dream or an idea that came to light right here in North Carolina.
And I would like to invite you to come back so that you can show the audience some of your dishes that you have, because saying it sounds really great.
Well, yes, I would love to do that, and I will come back and show you some of our fabulous dishes that people will knock down the doors to come to. Because a lot of people ask, how come you don't have them line up out your door like at 7th Street? I said, well, we're in the back of the woods. A lot of people don't know we're here at Sugar Creek, and we don't do a whole lot of advertising, but we are working on a budget. Hopefully we could do that, since now we have the product and everything to where it is now franchisable, and it's now all the kinks is out of that, out of this project that we have. So it's well formulated, it has a great foundation, and it's ready for the next level.
The individuals that are employed, I saw they had a great attitude, and I think, you know, that's another thing that I saw that was very interesting. How important is it to have that type of, you know, family type environment within your employees?
Well, there again, I go back to what I just mentioned. You're not an employee, you're family. And if you treat them like your family, then they don't want to leave. You can't fire them. And even if you fire them, which I did maybe in 1 or 2 occasions, they came right back and asked to come back, because the environment that they experience is of such that they'll be a credit to wherever they go to in their next job or their next level in life, because a lot of them, some of them are students.
Okay.
And they move on to they move on to their next career in life, and they have learned something from there of value to how to treat people and to be part of a family. So they, in turn, when they have their own family, that's something that they will learn, just like I learned from my parents, of how to treat people.
What's your opinion on the progress of minority business in Charlotte?
Well, it's struggling because of the economic downturn, and but I see a bright future, because this system or this world is not going anywhere. So we're gonna have to fix it. So that's why we're very optimistic that in the near future you'll see a lot of minority businesses flourishing, because there will be then more grants and more. The banks will then loosen up on their tight hold on the finances.
Do you think the city of Charlotte is eager to promote Caribbean culture, and what suggestions would you have for that?
Well, I think they're willing to promote anything once it's an enhancement for the city. And I think the growing number of the Caribbean community is of such that I think that the city of Charlotte ought to take a good look at who comes into the area and settle, you know, with their families, and you know, follow suit in trying to help them to increase the growth of the, you know, whatever community that is looking for help, and to greet them with open arms, basically, because they have a lot to contribute. We have doctors, lawyers, of all walks of life that is moving into this area from up north. And I think when I first came, there were very few people from the islands. As a matter of fact, they didn't even know what Caribbean food was like. I mean, I talked to, mentioned before, the president of Food Lion, he was stunned of how the product was. He mentioned that he put it in. He was a big hunter, and he would put it in the game, the sauce. So the more exposure that you have, it's the more the city would embrace you.
Do you think that the media might be a little sensitive to the Caribbean community?
I wouldn't say they're sensitive. I would say that they are not too familiar with Caribbean culture, because there is organizations in Charlotte that is not covered by the media, and they have a carnival every year. I think it's in June.
Okay.
And I don't think it's been covered by the media. So it's not a whole lot of media coverage because of I would say, the Caribbean community is not that large. So having a media coverage like the Spanish programs that they have. I mean, look at the population in Charlotte. It's exploded with the Spanish population, and you find more media coverage on that. You find that the people from the islands are very, I wouldn't say subdued, but very low-keyed, and they don't get into a whole lot of the limelight, so to speak. So I think it's time that people from the islands, with some encouragement, would then start seeking some media attention and coverage on these venues that we have every year. And that's why it's so important for me, when I first started this, to call it Caribbean rather than say tropical.
Correct.
Because I wanted to promote what the Caribbean was all about. Although I'm not part of, I didn't grow up basically in one of the Caribbean islands. I grew up in British Guyana, again, that is in South America. So with answer to your question, I think that with them opening up more to the media, letting them come and scrutinize, and having talks like these or interviews like these would enhance people, or give people the idea or the knowledge of what the islands are all about and what the people are all about.
What are some of the changes you've seen from the time you first started off to right now?
Well, I've seen to me, Charlotte was just a big town. It wasn't a city yet when I came. I came in 1976,
Okay.
1977. And I think Independence Boulevard, or Independence 74, wasn't even completed. They had barrels on the road.
Okay.
And you would ride on Highway 77, say around 8 or 9 o'clock, and there was no traffic. They only had trucks passing. So you had a clear shot. And it was like a small town. I mean, a medium-sized town.
Cool.
So you didn't have the Caribbean influence or a tropical influence. There's not much West Indians here in this area, because when I lived in Statesville and when I moved up to Charlotte and I opened up the restaurant, I had an office on Elizabeth Avenue. People didn't even know what it was. People didn't have any idea when I put up Anthony's Caribbean restaurant. People said, that's gonna last for 2 weeks. Ain't nobody gonna go to that. And here it's 25 years later and I'm still here. And it's still around. So that gives you an idea of how vast the city has grown now. Now it's a big city, becoming a big metropolis.
Correct.
And more people moving into the area are getting more involved in the ethnic way of conducting themselves. And they're trying different things. Because when I came here, people are quite fascinated with you, the way you speak. They never encountered, other than the people that had the money to travel to these various places and get a little bit more familiar with world affairs. People basically stayed right here. They may go to Atlanta or to Florida, but they were not involved with people from a different background until you start seeing the growth of people moving in from various parts of the country to populate Charlotte, and so that's why it's so diversified now.
Is your restaurant only located in Charlotte, or is it in other areas?
No, it's just located in Charlotte at West Sugar Creek, right off of Harris Boulevard. We started at 7th, as we talked about earlier,
Correct.
and moved it to West Sugar Creek.
Where do you see Antoni like 5 years from now? Where would you like it to be?
Well, I would like everybody in Charlotte to know that where this started. And I had many opportunities to take the whole concept to a different state and start from scratch. But I started it here in North Carolina, and this is where it'll stay. It's home office.
Okay.
We would like to expand throughout these metropolis, South Carolina, Florida, and beyond. But we want to start right here, opening up a few more venues and getting some individuals to partner up with you, get licensing agreements, or using the franchise opportunities that is available now. Because everything now, the foundation is built. It's now to expand or expound upon that, what I've already built.
Okay, what would, if you had one thing to say to our audience, what would it be as far as your restaurant, Antoni, and as far as coming and visiting?
Well, it's an experience, and that's the beauty of the whole ball of wax that we were talking about. It's coming in to experience a different country or different countries, because it's not just one island that we represent. We represent all the islands, and we make dishes and cakes that represent all of them. So it is an experience of coming to my house, not to a restaurant, but to my house, and meeting with the person himself that invented all this, and getting that experience.
Dr. Martin, we're coming to a close of the show. What we're going to do is, I'm saying, we're going to have you come back, and you're going to bring some of your dishes and also try to visit your restaurant.
Well, I will look forward to seeing you.
Yes, sir.
And hope that you will come
yes,
as
sir.
often as possible.
Always.
Well, you're always welcome. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching the show. You be encouraged.